What is going on, Swoopers? Welcome back to another episode of Swoop. In this episode, we'll be talking trade targets and what is going on this trade period. Let's get into it. So, Collingwood are gearing up for a massive trade period. Probably one of the biggest that we've seen. Like, we know in, 2020 when we got rid of Adam Treloar, Tom Phillips, Atu Bozonabalagi, Jaden Stevenson, a couple of picks and stuff like that. That was pretty big, but we didn't bring anyone in, or anyone really in. So this trade period, we're finally becoming that sort of club where people want to start playing for, which is very, very nice. It's always good to kind of be a destination club, or, big names will start coming. Big names, they will definitely start coming. But this period now, it's much more about Fly getting the personnel that he wants in. So we didn't do a lot of off-season trading last season. We did bring in Lipinski, we did bring in Kruger, two amazing players. Kruger we haven't seen a lot of, but from what we've seen, he looks absolutely incredible. Lipinski has fit in right into the middle, which is where we want him. He has kicked a couple goals as well. My man hasn't missed a beat since that round one game against St Kilda. But Fly went into this season with a team that was already assembled for him. Now he gets to pick and choose who he wants at the club and who he doesn't want at the club. We saw that there's already been a bunch of delistings. We said goodbye to both the Brown brothers, and Isaac Chug leaves us as well. Jordan Roughhead obviously retired. Mark Keane retired, I think before even the start of the season maybe. He left to go back to Ireland, which sucked because we had to still keep him on the list because it was after list lodgements and stuff like that. So Roughhead and Keane, two defenders, gone. And then we say goodbye to a bunch of people. But now we have been linked to a number of people. I think over half a dozen, which we will talk about. But there are still players that are yet to sign, and there's still a lot of speculation going on about Brody Grundy. Where does he go? What is happening? So let's get into it. I will start with the one that's on everybody's lips at the moment, Jordan Goey. What is going on with him? There was rumours that he signed a 5-year deal. The St Kilda guy came out. I think he's the St Kilda list management or CEO or something like that, came out on Trade Radio today and was like, we're still in the hunt for Jordan Goey. Nothing has been signed or anything like that. My sources indicate that Jordan Goey is going to sign a 5-year deal at the Pies, and it should be announced or will be announced at the Copeland tomorrow night. So Friday night it will be announced, which is probably where you want to announce it in front of a lot of fans, a lot of sponsors and stuff like that. Would be huge. I don't see him going to St Kilda. We know that there was that behavioural clause that some he had signed off on. There was one that he didn't because it was too vague. I was very opinionated, saying that, Collingwood shouldn't budge, and I don't think they've budged at all. From what I've heard and from who I've been speaking to, they've just reworded it a little bit, and both parties seem to be happy with that because he has ticked off most of the behavioural clauses that were there anyway, and he just has to tick off this one. Let's hope that he does sign up tomorrow, and that will get announced hopefully maybe in the afternoon or maybe actually at the Copeland, which will be after 6:30 at night, which would be huge because I'm pretty sure that's getting live streamed as well. Another guy that we're constantly talking about is Brody Grundy. Still has 5 years to go on that massive 7-year deal. Hasn't been the player that he has since 2018, 2019. Signed that 7-year deal in 2020. We know he was hampered by numerous injuries, one being that huge knee injury and then that ankle injury that he sustained after that VFL game. Brody Grundy is an interesting one because, and I've done a video about this already that I'll link in the comments down below. But I love Brody Grundy. I love everything he does. What he brings to the team is second to none. And you know that we're a better team with Grundy in the side. We're a better team with centre clearances. We're a better team with just clearances in general. Scoring differentials from clearances. And Cameron and Cox did a stand-up job as much as they could. But they were no Brody Grundy. But does a ruckman command $1.2 million a season? Well, rumoured $1.2 million a season, or $1 million, whatever it may be. I'm hearing 1.2, but anyway, probably not. You're probably not paying a ruckman over $750,000. Doesn't matter how good they are, in my opinion. So you can see why, as hard as it is, Collingwood don't want these big $1 million contracts on their salary cap anymore. And, you know, I would love for him to renegotiate, to 800,000, 700,000. But if your if your employer gave you let's just say $1 million a year as your wage, and then after a couple of years ago, oh, actually, you know what? We're gonna drop it down by 300,000. Can you renegotiate? Like, no, man. Like, that's definitely not what I want to do. The only way I can see that working is if we extend him. So say we drop him down by 300,000 to 700,000. So 3 times 5 is $1.5 million. So you give him 2 extra years. So a 5-year becomes a 7-year deal again. So it's pretty much 9 years. And then you spread that out by $750,000 a year. But I think that would make him 33, 34 or 34, 35 or something like that in that last 2 years. So that probably doesn't work, but that's a way that he could stay if he really, really wanted to. If he's not looking at that option, maybe there's just something else, and maybe I don't know. There's just something clashing that doesn't work with Fly's mentality or something like that, and he goes to Melbourne hopefully for a first-round pick. So the other couple guys unsigned are Jack Madgen, Caleb Poulter, Jordan Goey, who we just talked about, and Oliver Henry. Caleb Poulter, I think he leaves. He's been rumoured to tour Waverley, so Hawthorn's ground. Maybe he's a part of the Tom Mitchell trade that gets done to us. We'll talk about a little bit about that later. But Oliver Henry is the big one. When we see him play, he plays really well. There's a couple of things that he needs to really work on, but he's only a second-year player. He's played 25 games and he's kicked 28 goals, 21 goals this season. He's been a match winner in a lot of them, can take a really good contested mark. But look, still, only 2 years into the system. He's grown up in Geelong. His brother's a Geelong Premiership player now. Geelong are very, very, very into him. I think he commands a late first rounder, early second rounder pick because he's a tried and true player. I would love him to stay on, but apparently Collingwood's giving him X amount of money. He thinks that he wants more. His manager is asking for more. Collingwood won't budge. Collingwood really digging their heels in. Good, because we bend over to too many players demanding higher contracts where they shouldn't, and it has really screwed us in the past, which you can see from Treloar, Grundy, etc., etc., etc. If he goes, I think he'll go to Geelong. I think he will go to Geelong by all indications, which is disappointing because I love Ollie Henry. I love the way he goes about it. Takes a really good mark, kicks a really good goal, has saved our bacon so many times this season. But there's just, if you're not going to try and work to get into the team, you can go, find somewhere else. Like, good luck trying to get into that Geelong side. But, just good luck to him in general if he does end up leaving. All right, now Collingwood trade targets. Now, we have been linked with every name under the sun. Probably easier to list who we haven't been linked to. But off the top of my head, we've got Tom Mitchell from Hawthorn, Dan McStay from Brisbane, Billy Frampton from Adelaide, Bobby Hill from the Giants, Braden Fiorini from Gold Coast. And that's, off the top of my head, that's 5. I'm sure there's a couple of more, but those are the 5 guys that we're mainly targeting. Of course, there's going to be rumours for every guy that comes off free agency and stuff like that, but those are the big 5. And of those 5, we know that 2 are definitely on their way. The first guy being Dan McStay from Brisbane. Now, there has been a lot of furor about Dan McStay. People telling him to McStay in Brisbane, but he's definitely leaving and he's definitely coming to Collingwood. That can be announced as quickly as tomorrow when free agency does open. Now, Dan McStay is a forward. He is a backman and he can play in the ruck sometimes, that we saw against when Brisbane went up against Richmond. He did mainly all the ruck work when their ruckman went down. I think it was Oscar McInerney went down and he did all the ruck and he had a phenomenal game. I really like Dan McStay. Yes, he's not going to be that big Jeremy Cameron forward, but if he does come and he's in the forward line, he's going to help Brody Grundy. He's going to help Ash Johnson. His field kicking inside 50 is absolutely phenomenal and something that we really need to improve on, and Dan McStay is going to help that. But you got to think, Brody Grundy, when Cox isn't playing, or Cox is playing mainly ruck, Brody Grundy is getting the best defender every single time, and that's been happening since 2018. Grundy is bruised and battered. Like, you see that he was playing injured, and that all through that finals he was playing injured. He just wasn't up to standard since halfway through the season. Dan McStay coming in could command maybe their first defender or second, a my check, something like that. He really will work in our forward line, pushes up forward, lets Brody check, because we know that Brody check sometimes likes to get up the ground a little bit more and deliver into that forward line into Jamie Elliott and Ginnivan and stuff like that. McStay really helps. Also, McStay, when Justin Lepich was coaching Brisbane Lions, McStay was down back, so he could swing more than Brody Mychek could. He could swing down back. He could swing into the ruck, because we've got to think that Mason Cox is 31. He'll be 32 by the time the new season rolls around, season 2023. He's into his last year. He's not going to play every single game. I'd be surprised if he plays 6 games next season. We will need another ruckman. McStay will do well with Darcy Cameron in the ruck. That good rotating like Cox has been doing, and Darcy Cameron goes forward. So I think Dan McStay, as much as people think, oh, but he's only kicked 28 goals in a season, I think he offers us more than a couple of dozen goals. He offers us, elite field kicking, that option to go down back, the option to go in the ruck, and he takes the pressure off Brody Mychek, which is really, really, really important. Bobby Hill is another one who's definitely coming to the Pies. I'm hearing that it might be a third rounder, which is an absolute steal. Hasn't kicked more than 14 goals in a season, but that's okay. He's battled a lot. We know he had testicular cancer as well that he battled this year and he's overcome, which is absolutely huge. And, congrats to him, because, cancer is just a whole other beast. And to be able to beat it and come back and play professional football is incredible. He's exciting. He's quick. He's another one that has a good kick as well. A forward line with Hill, Elliott, Ginnivan, McStay, Johnson, and Brody Mychek is absolutely dangerous. Yes, Ginnivan is that sort of crumbing type. Jamie Elliott's not really that crummer. He plays tall and he can take a mark, and he's more of a set shot sort of guy. Bobby Hill is an out-and-out crummer, someone that we haven't had for a very, very long time. He's going to fit nicely. Does he make the best 22 straight away? Probably not. Probably has to work his way into it, but I would love to see him there. Going to enjoy watching him, especially in the preseason, especially in the VFL. But he could definitely make a name for himself, like Jack Ginnivan has this year. Wouldn't be surprised if Hill kicks over 24 goals next year. So very excited about Bobby Hill coming, and for a third rounder, that is an absolute steal. So the next guy I want to talk about is Billy Frampton. Now, he plays for Adelaide. He's a ruckman, but he's been dropped a couple of times, played most of this year at in the Samful as a full back. So he wants to play that Jordan Roughhead role. Now, key defenders are hard to come by. Key defenders on the free market are hard to come by. Yes, I would love a Sam Taylor. Yes, I would love a Ben Mackay. I would love these big bashing full backs, but they don't grow on trees, unfortunately. And when Jordan Roughhead went down and retired, that really messed us up, because Howe's not a one-on-one defender, but he's made to play one-on-one. We had Braden Maynard playing on Lance Franklin again in that Sydney game at the SCG for the prelim. So we need a big-bodied defender. Billy Frampton, his stats aren't overly great, but we have Justin Lepich as our back coach. Was a mate. Look what he's done to our back line. You know what I mean? So Billy Frampton coming in as a big, I think he's 202 or something centimeters. He's tall, he's quick, he's agile. Coming up, just as a lockdown key defender, we need it. We really, really need it. Because Murphy, Moore, Howe aren't cutting it. And Howe is super old now. Or it's not super old. Sorry, Howe, if you're watching. He's getting old now, so he hasn't got a lot of years left in him. So a young Billy Frampton coming in as a fullback, yes please, we'll start round 1. And we can start playing. Like, look what happened against Geelong. Jeremy Cameron, Tom Hawkins. You need a big-bodied defender to play on them. And Howe and Moore are just going to get pushed away. So, yes, Billy Frampton, please come down. Two guys I'm really, really excited about is Braden Fiorini, who can come down for 2 years from Gold Coast. Think of it as a free hit like Will Brodie has done at Fremantle and has made a beautiful name for himself there. Fiorini is an inside midfielder that just can't crack it into Gold Coast's team. So that'll be a nice little bit of depth for us, seeing that Taylor Adams has been frequently injured as an inside midfielder. But the guy that I'm most excited for this trade period is Tom Mitchell, the 2018 Brownlow medalist. Now, if we can get this, and by all accounts, he is definitely coming to Collingwood. They've been in talks with him for months. Graham Wright obviously was there at Hawthorn when Tom Mitchell has been there. 2018 Brownlow medalist. They don't grow on trees as well. An inside midfielder. Now, we were shocking in clearances all year. Absolutely just dead to rights. Just couldn't get a clearance. I think it was 17th or ranked 18th for clearances. And, it doesn't help that Brody Grundy wasn't there either. But we noticed that when Taylor Adams went down, there was no guy going in and under to get that ball. Yes, Tom Mitchell can rack up 45 disposals and not all of them be effective. But if he's going inside, getting it out and dishing it to Josh Dacos, Nick Dacos, Scott Pendlebury, Jordan De Goey, Steele, whoever he might be dishing it off to, that's absolutely huge. And someone we've been crying out for, a big-bodied midfielder that's just going like a Patrick Cripps type, where he's just going to get in, he's going to smash the pack and get the ball out. We need Tom Mitchell at this football club. Think of Tom Mitchell. Now, this is getting me really excited, right? Think of Tom Mitchell as the 2009 Luke Ball. Now, 2009 Luke Ball. What happened? Remind me what happened after we drafted Luke Ball. We went on to win the premiership in 2010 because we needed that elite midfielder. Obviously, Darren Jolly helped as well because we needed a really good ruckman. But Tom Mitchell could be that guy. On the edge of his career, probably only has maybe 2 or 3 years left in him. Hawthorn will be paying most of his money as well, which is really nice for us because we know we're tight on salary cap space. Man, could you imagine emulating Luke Ball, Tom Mitchell emulating Luke Ball, going on to the 2010 Grand Final, the 2023 Grand Final, would be just chef's kiss. But, that's a fairy tale at the moment. But definitely that inside midfielder. Who knows if Taylor Adams is ever going to be the same after tearing his groin off his bone, which is just a horrific injury. Who knows? But those guys, I think, will make us a better team. And good luck trying to draw up a best 22. But anyway, guys, this has just been my very long off-season talk. We will get down to the nitty-gritty once these guys are announced and if I hear any more news. But I just wanted to give you all the sort of updates that I've been hearing. Let me know down below if you've been hearing anyone else, or if you want me to make videos on individuals. I can definitely do that. It is going to be video central this off-season. We'll do a couple more lives and stuff like that once I get into a better routine. But until then, let me know down below who you want to sign, who you don't want to sign. Leave all your thoughts there. And until next time, like, comment, subscribe, tell your family, tell your friends, tell your pets. And until next time, double shackers. I'll swoop you later.